Jarren Duran made history with his latest home run against the Toronto Blue Jays, and he's further solidifying himself in the MVP conversation.
You are Locked On Red Sox, your daily Boston Red Sox podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome to Locked On Red Sox, your daily Boston Red Sox podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I'm your host, Gabby, former ESPN social media associate and current host of the Boston Balling podcast as well. And I am here to bring you the latest in all things Boston Red Sox, Monday through Friday, straight to your favorite podcast feed. And the best part is it is all completely free. So you might as well check it out because Locked On is your team every single day. Today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game time. Welcome to today's show, where the Red Sox finally snapped a 5-game losing streak on Tuesday night. I mean, talk about a long time coming for them to win a game after getting swept by the Diamondbacks at home over the weekend and then dropping both games of a doubleheader on Monday against Toronto. Things were really looking pretty glim for this Red Sox team, but with some fantastic defensive efforts and a fabulous display by All-Star Jarren Duran, it was a good win that the Red Sox put together on Tuesday night, defeating Toronto 6-3. And Jarren Duran went 2 for 4. He did reach on an infield single at one point in the game. But the most important thing was that he mashed a leadoff home run. Now, this kid is truly remarkable, and my favorite thing about him is how aggressive he is at the plate, and he doesn't shy away from finding his pitch and making lots of hard contact. And if it's the first pitch and he likes it, he pounces on it. Now, this home run was not on the first pitch of the game, but he has done that before, and he smoked another home run, and he actually made history among Major League Baseball with that home run. He became the first player in MLB history to record at least 10 triples, 20 home runs, 30 stolen bases, and 40 doubles in a season. So a pretty remarkable stat for him. And it's not an easy thing to do, especially the triples. I mean, 10 triples is pretty hard to come by, and it further shows his speed and aggressiveness on the base paths. More often than not, he turns singles into doubles, and what would be a double for a lot of people, Duran is able to stretch into a triple because of how speedy fast he is on the bases. And I just find him to be an incredible, fun player to watch. And it is just crazy to think about how much he's really done for this Red Sox team this season in regards to his ability to keep them afloat and keep them in somewhat of a playoff conversation. Now, obviously, the playoffs seem pretty far away at this point and distant for the Red Sox because they need to win the majority of their games moving forward if they want a shot at a wild card. But the way that they've played this season, Jarren Duran has been one of the most exciting players on the team and is somebody to continue to look out for moving forward, because you take his performance on Tuesday night and you add that to one of many strong performances that he's had this season. I mean, in the first half, he batted .284, and that was a lot of fun to watch because his on-base percentage was .342 with a .483 slugging, and it was almost like, wow, we're getting so much out of this kid. What can he possibly do better than he already is? Because he hit 11 home runs in the first half with 42 RBIs and 22 stolen bases. So it seemed nearly impossible for him to do better than that. But a big thing for him, he's hitting .319 in the second half, and he recorded 33 strikeouts so far compared to 99 in the first half. So he's certainly on pace to have a significant drop off in strikeouts, which is massive in terms of his performance at the plate. So he has been able to contribute so much to this Red Sox team, and I'm really excited to see what he does over the next month because he has played in almost every game for the team this season. He recorded 42 RBIs in the first half. He's already at 25 for the second half with a lot less plate appearances, so I'm sure there will be more to come for that for him. And I truly feel like he deserves to be in the MVP conversation this year because of the fact that not only did he make history with his plate appearances and his ability to string together all different types of hits, and with his speed on the base paths and being able to steal bases pretty seamlessly, but he also has made some incredible plays defensively. And when you look at MVP, most valuable player, who means the most to the team that they're on, and I feel like with how much Jarren Duran does, he should be in the conversation and deserves at least a chance to win MVP because it's not every day you see a player like Duran who goes out there every single night and makes an impact. Literally every night. I feel like there's something Duran does to make a positive impact on this Red Sox team, whether they win or lose the game. He's always a player who you find you're talking about in terms of who contributed for this Red Sox team tonight. And that's huge and shows his value to this team. And he provides more versatility in his game than a lot of other MVP candidates do in terms of his ability to just show off his athleticism and do a variety of different things out there. And you know you're going to get a guy who's going to make an impact either defensively or offensively. And a lot of times it's both. I mean, he made a really nice play to throw out a base runner on Tuesday night when the Red Sox decided they would play clean defense for once. How nice was that? And obviously, as a result, it helped them to win the baseball game. It's crazy how you can win games when you play clean defense. So Duran certainly contributed to that with a nice play where he threw out a runner. So there are just a lot of things Duran has going for him. He should be in the MVP conversation and he should keep the race close. It would be a disservice to him if he got no votes for MVP and he was just really far off the race because he provides more value than a couple of the other guys whose names are being thrown out there. So I really like a lot of what Jarren Duran does. I highly recommend keeping an eye on how things go for him the rest of the season and into next year. People are talking about the fact that he could potentially be traded this offseason. I don't see that happening. He provides way too much value for this team. And even with the outfield depth that the Red Sox do have, I'd rather see them move somebody like Wilyer Abreu, who, yes, has had a great season at the plate this year, but provides a little bit less overall value than Duran does, because they could still get a good return for Abreu because he's still young and he has had such a good season this year, especially offensively. So they could trade him. But Duran, to me, is a key piece to the future of this team, because when you look at the Red Sox in 2025 and beyond, they have a lot of exciting young talent and prospects coming up who are going to help contribute to this team moving forward. And it's an exciting time to be a Red Sox fan because of that. But you need to make sure that you also secure your players who are currently on this team that have put forth a valiant effort to make this team respectable this season. And Jarren Duran has always consistently been at the top of that. He's really taken over as a good leader in the clubhouse this year, and he brings a positive vibe and good camaraderie, and he gives 100% every single game. So trading him in the offseason would be a bad idea, because this is the Duran that we're going to see for years to come, a guy who's just always grinding out there and is going to provide versatility in a lot of different ways, because the speed doesn't just get lost. That's something he'll always have. It's a raw ability of his. He totally has figured out his identity at the plate and what works for him. So when it comes to the future of this Red Sox team, he is a huge part of that. So the Red Sox definitely need to keep him around because it would be such a mistake for them to let him go. Coming up, I'm going to be talking about a player who has finally arrived back in Boston for yet another stint in the majors. Can he help the Red Sox try in these last few weeks to make a playoff push? You'll find out. I really don't know much about cars at all, and I've leaned on eBay Motors for many different things. Passion, drive, and patience. The formula for winning championships is also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. Superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to make your car the MVP and bring home huge wins. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only, exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit only available to U.S. customers. I am a huge fan of eBay Motors. They have literally been a lifesaver for me so many times, and they can be that for you as well. You know what else can be a lifesaver for you because it can help you win lots of money is PrizePicks. If you're looking for a fun way to play daily fantasy sports, PrizePicks is America's #1 daily fantasy sports app with over 5 million active members. You can literally win up to 100 times your money with as little as 4 correct picks. You can turn $10 into $1,000. That's a significant amount of money. 1 Caleb Williams passing yard gets you 1 win on PrizePicks every week in September. That's right, only 1 yard gets you an automatic win every football weekend in September. 4 weeks of free W's. Don't miss this deal on PrizePicks because it's gone when September ends. I am so excited for football season because there are so many opportunities to win money on PrizePicks during the fall. All you have to do is download the PrizePicks app today and use code LOCKEDONMLB and get $50 instantly when you play $5. That's code LOCKEDONMLB on PrizePicks to get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. PrizePicks, run your game. This can seriously change your life. So why wait? Check out PrizePicks today. Thank you for making Locked On Red Sox your first listen today. For your second listen, enjoy the Locked On MLB podcast. Host Paul Sullivan, aka Sully, is here daily to provide national expertise with his trademark humor to help you get ready for the MLB playoffs here in the dog days of summer. Prepare for the Fall Classic with Sully, who has it all covered every single day on Locked On MLB, available on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I promise you will not get bored by Sully. He is absolutely hilarious and super passionate. So check out his show after this. He is back, everybody. Back in a Red Sox uniform, a place he has called home before, and a guy who has been around Major League Baseball, it feels like forever. Yes, I am talking about Rich Hill. The time has arrived. He is active for the Boston Red Sox, and I'm sure people are very excited to see him coming back. There are certainly question marks surrounding Rich Hill's return, like whether he's going to be able to be effective. Is he too old to play now, and does that make him washed? Has he been away from the game for too long to the point where he won't be able to be effective for the Red Sox down the stretch? Lots of those questions that need to be answered. But on the flip side, people are excited about the veteran experience and leadership that he brings to the table and just an overall love for the game of baseball. He knows what it's like to pitch under pressure. He knows what it's like to pitch in the postseason. And he's somebody who a lot of the younger players can rely on when they have those nerves for the pressure that comes with playing at this competitive of a level. So there are definitely pros to having Rich Hill here. And he is excited to come in and just contribute and make a difference with this Red Sox team and hopefully help them make a potential playoff push. Fenway is so familiar for him, and he walked back into the home clubhouse on Tuesday as if he had never left. The summer vacation for him was spent coaching his son Bryce in his final season of Little League. He felt like that was the priority at the time and just wanted to step away from Major League Baseball, but the timing was right for him to come back, and the Red Sox were a logical fit, especially because of James Paxton's injury that he dealt with a few weeks back. With their pitching depth tested by injuries in general in recent weeks, the Red Sox signed Hill to a minor league contract on August 17th, and now just 10 days and 2 innings for AAA Worcester later, the 44-year-old was back in the majors, getting ready to embark on yet another stint for his hometown Red Sox. Closer Kenley Jansen did say Dick Mountain is back, referring to the nickname that Rich Hill had on the back of his jersey for Players Weekend several years ago when Kenley and Hill were teammates on the Dodgers. And Nick Pivetta was excited to have Hill here also because he just knows the attitude that he possesses when he's out on a baseball field, and he knows that he's going to give 100% to put his team in the best position possible to succeed, and he's prepared to work in any role that Alex Cora needs him in, and he's excited to just be back in general. He said, feels good. It's great to be back. We had a great summer, and I was just staying ready and just taking the opportunity. And putting in the work and the time and the effort throughout the entire summer has obviously come to this point where we're at today. Obviously, the challenge ahead is to go out there and continue to put in the time and the effort and the work, but to go out there and compete and make pitches and get outs and play with a relentless attitude. It really does not matter to him what role he's in. He's just happy to be back out there pitching and is ready to just kill it. This marks the start of Hill's 4th stint with the Red Sox, but it's actually the 8th contract he signed with the club. He did first join the team in 2010 as a 30-year-old, coming off years of injury misfortune, and that's when he made the transition from starter to reliever. And then he came back in September of 2015 after a stint with the independently affiliated Long Island Ducks that convinced him he could start again. And he was right. In 4 late season starts for Boston, he had a 1.55 ERA, at which point he ended up resurrecting his career and went on to pitch in the World Series twice with the Dodgers. And then in 2022, he again came back to Fenway, that time as a full season member of the rotation, and made 26 starts. This time is yet another different circumstance for him, as he only wanted to pitch a partial season anyway, and the Red Sox happened to be the team that needed him the most, so it kind of just felt like it was meant to be. And he feels confident that he can still compete at the highest level at 44 years old because of the way the ball is coming out of his hand. He said, I know it was a couple of innings in Worcester, but I think the way that the hitters were reacting and the way the ball is breaking, the life on the fastball and how the execution was, I think it was all there. And what was crazy was Kyle Teal, who was only 3 years old when Rich Hill made his MLB debut in 2005, was catching his bullpen in Worcester. So that was pretty ironic that that all came full circle. And I'm sure Kyle Teal was super excited and felt super honored to be catching a bullpen for such a legendary pitcher who has made his mark in the sport. So he's very excited to be back. He's 90-73 with a 4.01 ERA in his career. In addition to the Red Sox, he has also pitched for the Cubs, Orioles, Guardians, Angels, Yankees, A's, Dodgers, Twins, Rays, Mets, Pirates, and Padres. So not a lot of teams really at all, right? But I am excited to see what he can do. With the Red Sox slumping as of late, and finally breaking out of a 5-game losing streak, but still struggling in the wild card race to get back into contention. He just brings another steady veteran to the mix on a roster full of youth players, and it could be a very good situation for the Red Sox organization, especially if he is able to be as effective as the Red Sox are hoping he can be. So I have high hopes for him being here. I don't see this being a long-term thing, likely just to help with this stretch run here for the last month or so of the regular season and hopefully help lead the Red Sox into the playoffs. That is primarily why he's here, and I'm excited to see what he can do. So the Red Sox did make a couple roster moves to accommodate this. Now that Rich Hill is active, they DFA'd Brad Keller, which is honestly fantastic because he was just not getting the job done out of the Red Sox bullpen, was giving up lots of runs any given outing. And whenever he went out there, he was all over the place, didn't have the command, and was just not reliable. So it definitely makes sense that the Red Sox made that move. They also had to place Lucas Sims on the injured list with a lat strain. So Greg Weissert was called back up to the major league roster. I mean, more and more injuries to this Red Sox team, which is just super unfortunate. So that move happened. And then also Luis Garcia has right elbow inflammation, and he also is going on the injured list. So Josh Winkowski was activated for him. So a few different roster moves that took place on Tuesday. Greg Weissert did pitch in the game in which the Red Sox won 6-3. He recorded the win, going 1.2 innings, giving up 2 hits, but 0 earned runs. He's been off and on this season for the Red Sox, and they're going to need him to buckle down and perform because this is it. I mean, they're running out of options here in terms of guys to bring up when the next injury happens. So hopefully these guys are able to get the job done, and hopefully Sims comes back sooner rather than later, because overall, even though he has had a couple tough outings, he has been relatively reliable since the Red Sox acquired him at the trade deadline. So they really could use him down the stretch here as they start to get guys back, because Liam Hendriks is also approaching his return. He's eyeing a return on September 6th, which would be when the Red Sox face the White Sox. He wants to make his return against his former team. That has been his goal this entire time, was to make his return during that series, because that would just be a full circle moment and a special scenario for him in which he could say hi to both teams and be able to celebrate being back here and pitching again in front of a fan base and crowd that is welcoming him with open arms, and another one that already welcomed him with open arms when he was in their organization. So he is eyeing his return here in the next week or so, which is super exciting. So you almost want to feel like the Red Sox are gaining some momentum in that regard and feeling like, oh, they're getting their guys back now, so we can have some hope that this team can make a run for the postseason. But the question is this all too late? Are they getting their additions back too late? Justin Slayton just came back the other day. Is that too late? He's one of the best relievers, but spent a lot of time on the IL. And now that he's back, we want to feel like the Red Sox are back and that these guys can help them contribute. Justin Slayton, especially Liam Hendriks, Rich Hill. All of that is fantastic, and these are key pieces that I'm sure will help the Red Sox to grow and be very, very solid, hopefully. But is that gap too large at this point to where they can't make up ground and earn a wild card spot? Time will tell with that. But as much as the major league team might be super frustrating right now and is not playing well, the future of the Boston Red Sox and the young core that they have established, as well as prospects they have coming up, are all something to look forward to, because this Red Sox team will be very, very good in 2025 and beyond if they continue to focus on their core and their young talent. And coming up, I'm going to be talking about one of those stud prospects who will be making a big contribution when he comes up to the majors. It's so important to stay hydrated in the summer. I tend to sometimes not drink enough water and it makes me feel really sick. Liquid IV is a supplement that can ensure that you're staying extra hydrated more so than just water alone. There are several different flavors, including a pina colada flavor, which I personally have actually tried, and it's absolutely delicious. Highly recommended. You can get hydrated with electrolytes, essential vitamins, and clinically tested nutrients from the #1 powdered hydration brand in America. There are so many benefits to Liquid IV, staying hydrated while traveling, going to summer festivals, or after a night out especially. And there are different flavors for everybody, so you can mix it right in with your water and make sure you're staying extra hydrated. Tear, Pour, Live More. 1 stick plus 16 ounces of water hydrates better than water alone. No more thirsty summers when you indulge in hydration with Liquid IV. Get 20% off your first order of Liquid IV when you go to liquidiv.com and use code MLB at checkout. That's 20% off your first order when you shop Better Hydration today using promo code MLB at liquidiv.com. I'm telling you, you will not be disappointed in this stuff, and it'll help you feel like you are in a lot better shape. So make sure that you take advantage of that. You should also take advantage of Game Time because it has excellent ticket deals whenever you're trying to go to a sporting event, concert, anything of the sort. Game Time ensures that they are offering you the best, most reasonable prices. And I know this from personal experience because I absolutely love going to live events. So I rely on Game Time a lot. Actually just got Red Sox tickets for when they go to Citi Field next week using Game Time, and they were crazy cheap relative to other ticket vendors, and they show the view from your seat so you know you won't have an obstructed one and you can be satisfied with where you're sitting. So make sure that you check out Game Time today because they do have a 50% off Labor Day offer for some baseball games that you definitely will not want to miss. It also has a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets for your favorite live events even easier. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game Time. Game Time is the absolute best. I highly recommend it to anybody looking to get tickets, especially because these events are so expensive nowadays. The Boston Red Sox may be struggling and they may miss the playoffs, but something that we can take solace in with this team is the fact that their future is incredibly bright and there is so much young talent in this Red Sox system that's going to be coming up at some point. And one of those stud talents is Roman Anthony, who is a super talented outfielder in the system. He's the number 14 prospect in MLB, and he is batting .364 with a 1.063 OPS in his first 13 AAA games for the Worcester Red Sox, as he did last night chalk up another 4-hit performance. This was his second 4-hit game in the 13 games since his promotion, which is crazy. He reached base 5 times in the contest, going 4 for 5 with a triple, a double, a walk, and 2 runs scored. This kid is something special, and I am so excited to see the way he contributes to this Red Sox team when he gets called up to the majors. He did make a name for himself by smashing a 450-foot home run at the 2021 High School All-American game at Coors Field before leading Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida to its second consecutive 7A state championship, and he won Gatorade's Florida High School Player of the Year award as a senior. He was Boston's 3rd pick in 2022, but received the highest bonus in its draft class of $2.5 million, the equivalent of late first-round money. He began his first full pro season by batting .228 with a .376 on base percentage and .316 slugging in 42 games in Single A, but his underlying metrics were so good that the Red Sox promoted him, and he absolutely raked with a .301 batting average, .422 on base percentage, and .565 slugging between High A and Double A. His swing decisions and his ability to make extremely hard contact have translated at the higher levels for him, and this bodes well for his future and give him a higher offensive ceiling than Red Sox prospect Marcelo Meyer in the minds of some people. He began to shorten his quick left-handed stroke and refine his approach as a high school senior, and his next step will be to learn to launch balls in the air more consistently. The organization's 2023 minor league offensive player of the year. He combines hitting ability with well above average raw power in a fashion reminiscent of fellow Stoneman Douglas product and 2007 Boston sixth rounder Anthony Rizzo. But Roman Anthony is a much better natural athlete than Anthony Rizzo. Roman will flash plus run times out of the batter's box and has good instincts on the bases and in the outfield, but he'll likely have average speed after he's fully developed physically, which is fine, and he's handled center field better than expected, so the Red Sox believe he can stay there, though a lot of scouts do think he's destined for a corner outfield spot once he slows down. But with his power and average to solid arm strength, he could fit nicely in right field for the Red Sox, so they will have some decision-making that they'll have to do when it comes to him, and he eventually gets his opportunity, gets his call-up with this Red Sox team. But it's exciting to think about where he could fit in, because with the outfield situation right now for the Red Sox, they have an overload of talent there. Somebody's going to have to get moved. I already talked about why it shouldn't be Jarren Duran, but Roman Anthony is the type of prospect that they need to get into the lineup regularly when he does get his call up, because of the offensive ability that he provides and being able to hit to all different parts of the ballpark. That's something that I really feel will translate for him, because he already has the raw power and ability offensively. So he's going to be a key offensive contributor. And when it comes to his defense, that might be a slightly weaker part of his game, but he is somebody who can absolutely make an impact on both sides of the ball and is too talented to not put into the lineup every day, or at least the majority of the time, like they do with Jarren Duran, who's in the lineup every day. So Jarren Duran is somebody who I would hate to see the Red Sox trade, but they could certainly trade Wilyer Abreu, and then they could slot Roman Anthony in there, and then they're looking at an outfield of Sadam Rafaela, Jarren Duran, and Roman Anthony in the future, with maybe Rob Refsnyder if he stays around as the fourth outfielder, or bringing in somebody else. But either way, that could be the outfield of the future, and that is pretty freaking good. I mean, those are very talented young players who have overall the speed to be able to succeed, the versatility to be able to succeed, and just lots of raw ability in a variety of different ways. And that's a scary outfield contingency there. And if I were another team, I would not want to have to face that. So Roman Anthony is going to be slotted in there somewhere at some point. The question is going to be, when is he going to be ready to be called up? I feel like 2025 could be the year for him. If he continues to mash in AAA and he's making an impact, his arrival in the majors could come sooner than we think. I don't think it's going to be a situation where the big three of Marcelo Meyer, Kyle Teel, and Roman Anthony are all called up to the majors together like they were with AAA, because Meyer has dealt with a lot of injuries, so I think he's going to have to prove himself a little bit more in AAA first. Kyle Teel, I think, has to get physically a little bit bigger and get himself more in shape to be a Major League Baseball player, even though he definitely has the talent level and the skill set. I think Roman Anthony is the furthest along in terms of his readiness to play in the majors. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see him get a chance at some point next season. And the Red Sox, if they do decide to do that, are going to have to be prepared with what decision they're going to make in regards to this outfield, because this is a good problem to have. So much talent in that outfield core for the Red Sox right now, and it goes to show that the Red Sox future is bright. Many different players who can make a difference down the road, a few key prospects who are going to come up in the next couple seasons and be part of that picture, and they just need to fix the pitching in the offseason this year. But I'm very excited for 2025 and beyond, and I loved seeing Roman Anthony yet again have another star-studded game for the Worcester Red Sox, because he just continues to rake at every level, and that's an amazing sign for him and for the Red Sox organization that they have a lot to be excited about with this kid. And if I were them, I would be counting down the days until he can get called up, because this kid is special. As always, like we as fans should be doing, we have to stay positive here. Don't forget to check out Sully on Locked On MLB after this show. And just keep the faith. Go Red Sox, and I will catch you on the flip side.